join us. We are going to be good to be starting with the event, and as I mentioned, the entire event is going to be close to 35 minutes. Would like to request you all to please have your mobile phones on the silent mode.
We're mute.
We can't hear you, Nakul Chaudhary. No, your voice is not audible. You are on mute. No, no.
So, if I can just request people who've joined us to kindly put your cameras on just for a moment so that we can check the view on the screen and then put it off. In fact, you can leave your cameras on, but yes, as far as the mics, you're requested to please put it on.
Finally, we can hear you.
Yeah. Aviv. רצית להגיד לי. מה רצית להגיד לי?
אביב, תפעיל את המצלמה. אביב, תפעיל את המצלמה, לא רואים אותך. למה זה ככה? זה כולה משהו טועה, זה בסדר. לא, ברגע שאתה מדבר, רואים שהוא מדבר, רואים אותו.
השר שטייניץ, שלום לך, זה אביב.
Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen, and wishing you all a very pleasant evening. On behalf of the dynamic host of this evening, Shri Shrikant Madhav Vedaji, Chairman Indian Oil, a pleasure and delight to be greeting you all on this very momentous and a landmark occasion. And shortly, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be witnessing the inauguration of a joint venture as two leading companies of the world come together. The Indian Oil Corporation, which you all know is a leading global energy giant, joining hands with Phinergy Limited, the Israel-based cutting-edge energy storage technology provider, and the two coming together for the joint venture IOC Phinergy Private Limited. And this joint venture, ladies and gentlemen, is towards the development, manufacturing, assembly, and the sale of the aluminum air batteries for the electric vehicles and the stationary applications. And with this joint venture, Indian Oil actually forays into the manufacturing of the batteries and also setting up the state-of-the-art battery charging infrastructure. Initiative which is pretty much in line with our Honorable Prime Minister's energy transition vision, and also it has the potential towards making India Atmanirbhar in the energy sector, especially towards the green energy through a viable e-mobility solution. And as we take this initiative, ladies and gentlemen, forward, this progressive alliance, this progressive collaboration between two progressive nations of the world and two progressive companies of the world, this is being taking place in the august presence of two dynamic leaders of the energy world, the policymakers joining us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are very pleased to have the presence of Dr. Yuval Steinitz, the Honorable Minister of Energy, Government of Israel, present with us, along with Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, the Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Government of India. We thank both the Honorable Ministers. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, our apologies, I think I could not be heard. So just once again, greetings to all present, and definitely a delight and a pleasure for me to be greeting you all on behalf of Chairman Indian Oil, Shri Shrikant Madhav Vaidyaji, the dynamic host of this evening, as I welcome you all to this very momentous occasion and a landmark occasion, as we are shortly going to be witnessing the inauguration of the joint venture as two leading companies of the world are coming together. They are joining hands. We have Indian Oil Corporation, which you all know is a global energy major, joining hands with Phinergy Limited, the Israel-based cutting-edge energy storage technology provider, and the two coming together towards establishing the joint venture IOC Phinergy Private Limited. And with this joint venture, ladies and gentlemen, this joint venture is towards the development, manufacturing, assembly, and the sale of the aluminum air batteries for electric vehicles and stationary applications. And with this joint venture, Indian Oil is today pouring into the manufacturing of the battery and also setting up the state-of-the-art battery charging infrastructure. This move, this initiative, ladies and gentlemen, definitely is in line with our Honorable Prime Minister's energy transition vision, which he has set for India, and is also going to be contributing towards India achieving its energy independence, becoming Atmanirbhar in the energy sector, especially towards the green energy through a viable e-mobility solution. And in fact, we are witnessing this collaboration, this progressive alliance between two progressive nations of the world, two progressive companies of the world, in the august presence of two dynamic and very decisive leaders in the energy sector, our policy makers present with us. Dr. Yuval Steinitz, the Honorable Energy Minister of Israel. And we also have Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, the Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Government of India. And further, ladies and gentlemen, in this evening, in the presence of our honorable ministers, we are also going to be witnessing the signing of the letter of intent between IOP and two leading automobile companies of India. And this letter of intent is towards the application and the commercial deployment of the aluminum air technology for mobility solutions. So, on behalf of all present here, I would like to thank both our honorable ministers for taking out time and in fact dignifying and magnifying this event with their gracious presence. So with this brief little insight into today's event, I would now like to request Dr. SSV Ramakumar, Director R&D Indian Oil, for his welcome remarks and his introductory address.
Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, India, Government of India. Dr. Yuval Steinitz, Honorable Minister of Energy, Israel, Shri Tarun Kapoorji, Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, His Excellencies, Ambassadors Dr. Ron Malka and Shri Sanjeev Kumar Singla, Ambassador, Israeli Ambassador to India and Indian Ambassador to Israel respectively, senior officials from Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri S.M. Vaidya, Chairman, Indian Oil, my senior director, my senior colleague, Shri G.K. Satish, Mr. Aviv Jidan, Chairman, Phinergy, Mr. David Meyer, CEO, Phinergy, Shri Kenichi Aikawa-san, Managing Director, Maruti Suzuki India Limited, Shri C.V. Raman, Executive Director, Maruti Suzuki India Limited, Dr. N. Saravanan, Chief Technology Officer, Ashok Leyland, Shri Mahesh Babu, Chief Executive Officer, Mahindra Electric, my senior colleagues from Indian Oil who are present here as well as joining through web, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon to each one of you. On behalf of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Indian Oil, welcome you all for this inauguration of IOC Phinergy Private Limited and signing of letters of intent with auto OEMs. Indian Oil and Phinergy have traveled this far to forge a partnership in the area of metal air batteries, which, as we believe, is going to be a game-changing technology and may result in defining a new e-mobility paradigm in the Indian context. While India is moving aggressively towards promoting electric drivetrains, the availability of lithium, low travel range, and high charging time are some of the key constraints which are inhibiting its penetration in the country. Indian Oil and Phinergy have joined hands to develop metal air battery technology, which would be based on India-centric metals that are abundantly available in India, would have a long range of travel, and would be based on mechanical charging rather than electric charging. The interest of the leading passenger car and heavy-duty vehicle manufacturers in jointly progressing ahead in this venture is going to be a great enabler towards commercialization of this technology. The presence of honorable ministers of India and Israel and the diplomats testifies the importance that is accorded by the respective governments of both the countries to this very important subject. I once again welcome you all for this momentous occasion. Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we invite the views and the insights of the leaders and the torchbearers of the joint venture. And may I first request Mr. Aviv Saidon, the chairman, Phinergy, for his address.
Thank you very much. Only verify that you see me and hear me.
We can hear you, sir, as well as see you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for this hospitality and keeping us all together. There is a saying that if you don't do, you never make mistakes. And if you do, there is a good chance you will make mistakes. But innovation is something that you have to try. And innovation within regulation is something that we will be successful. I have a dream that if we want to save the world of not having CO2, we should not use C as carbon to oxidize the energy. And in 1982, I visited India for the first time. It is 40 years ago. And I still cherish and think that the Indian culture and the Jewish culture is very much the same. There is a saying, same, but different. And this is like a slogan that young people traveling in India say. But I think we are same, but the same, because we cherish family, we cherish a surrounding, we cherish culture, and we are different than the rest of the world. And in somewhat, I find myself much more associated and close to the Indian culture. And the Shiva and all your gods, you have many gods. In Israel, we have maybe one, if you don't count Bibi. So we still are the same. And when we look into the energy around us, sun is all over us. And you have enough of sun. You have enough of aluminum. And we are capable to capture with the renewable energy, the energy to serve all India. And it will serve not only India, it will serve the rest of the world. And you are the first continent to choose our technology. And for that, we want to thank you to have the guts and the willingness to try something new. I hope we will not be wrong, but we see already 3 OEM that signed with us. Regarding not making a mistake, I have no chance to repeat all the honorable people and to be correct with their name. So I want to thank you all for being part of that. We are a family and we are a team. As such, I would like to give David Meyer, who is the leader of Phinergy, to say the words in behalf of the family of Phinergy. David, your floor.
I will be very short. I would just like to say that about a year ago, we have signed with Indian Oil and have partnered with them to do something great. And this is to provide clean energy in India using technology made in Israel. This has become a reality. We have done a program with Mahindra and have shown that a vehicle can drive longer. Now we are signing with Maruti and Ashok Leyland. This is something great. We know that we are going to succeed with the help of everybody around this table, because everybody needs to support a big dream. And indeed, this is a big dream, but the dream has become reality. Thank you, everybody, for bringing clean energy to the world.
Sharing your thoughts and the dream actually becoming a reality, as you mentioned. And now inviting the next dynamic partner of this joint venture, as I request and welcome Chairman Indian Oil, Shri Shrikant Madhav Vaidyaji, for his address.
Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, Honorable Minister of Energy Israel, Dr. Yuval Steinmetz, His Excellency Ambassador of India to Israel, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Singlaji, His Excellency Ambassador of Israel to India, Dr. Ron Malka, Secretary MOPNG, Mr. Tarun Kapoorji, Chairman Phinergy, Mr. Evis Saizon, MD and CEO Maruti Suzuki India Limited, Mr. Kenichi Ayukawa, CTO Ashok Leyland, Dr. N. Saravanan, officials from the Government of Israel, officials from the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas and the auto industry, my fellow board members and other dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and greetings to you. India's economic growth will lead to the nation contributing to approximately 1/4 of the global energy demand growth over the next 2 decades. The most significant long-term challenge for us in India is to supply clean and affordable energy to all and meet the economic growth requirements while addressing the concerns related to climate change and air pollution. At Indian Oil, we recognize the power, opportunities, and challenges associated with this ongoing energy transition. Accordingly, we have been investing across the energy spectrum, be it in natural gas, renewables, or biofuels, as well as in the new energy horizons of hydrogen, CCUS, and battery technology. The JV between Indian Oil and Phinergy for commercializing aluminum air technology is another crucial initiative towards technology-driven energy transition. Aluminum air technology will help us overcome most of the current challenges of e-vehicles and address most crucial customer concerns, including range anxiety, higher cost of purchase, and safety issues. I am confident that the joint venture with Phinergy would provide to be a major milestone in India's pursuit of e-mobility. We are pleased to have with us today the two leading automotive manufacturers in the country, Maruti Suzuki India Limited and Ashok Leyland Limited, who will be signing a letter of intent today with the newly incorporated JV. We are also looking forward to the wholehearted support from other stakeholders, including the automotive manufacturers, Niti Aayog, and other ministries for the success of this initiative. Finally, I would like to share my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhanji, and Honorable Minister of Energy, Israel, Dr. Yuval Steinmetz, for their inspiration and unwavering support. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you for sharing the progressive vision behind this joint venture. And now, ladies and gentlemen, giving you greater insights into the very genesis and the promise of this joint venture, we present you a short film.
India, an ancient civilization known for its diverse and fascinating cultural and intellectual heritage, rich flora and fauna, and amazing customs and architecture. Today, modern India has emerged as a resurgent economy on the global scene, and as signatory to the Paris Climate Accord, is deeply committed to combat climate change by enhancing low-carbon energy options.
Today, India's renewable power capacity is the fourth largest in the world. It is growing at the fastest speed among all major countries.
Indian Oil Corporation, the largest refiner and fuel retailer in the country, is fully aligned to India's aspirations of transiting to clean energy and has made large investments in alternative energy and sustainable development projects. Inspired by the holistic energy vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Indian Oil's state-of-the-art R&D center, with its vast experience of 5 decades, is proactively embracing viable and customer-convenient automobile battery technology options in the emerging electric mobility domain in India. Following the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Israel in July 2017 and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to India in January 2018, Indian Oil and Phinergy of Israel have decided to come together in collaborative mode for producing clean and high energy density battery systems based on metal air technology, which has distinct advantages over lithium technology. These batteries are lighter and compact, with high energy density, and offer many advantages like higher range, energy density, safety, and longer life cycle. Indian Oil's collaboration with Phinergy in the field of aluminium air technology will not only scale up EV mobility in India, but also reduce import dependence of the country and de-risk our energy business from global geopolitical turbulence. The Indian Oil Board has approved the formation of a joint venture between Phinergy and Indian Oil in India for commercialization of aluminium air technology. The new joint venture, named IOC Phinergy Private Limited, will be setting up a manufacturing facility in India in the spirit of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat drives of the Government of India. On this historic day, as Indian Oil and Phinergy come together to start a new journey towards clean, sustainable, affordable, and safe energy option. Let us rejoice and resolve to stay on course and create a better and greener tomorrow for the people of India. The inauguration of the joint venture is being done on the 17th of March 2021 in the august presence of the Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, and the Honorable Minister of Energy, Government of Israel, Dr. Yuval Steinitz.
So the two companies joining hands for a greener tomorrow. And now, on this occasion, I request the expressions of respected Secretary PNG, Shri Tarun Kapoorji, inviting him for his address.
Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, Honorable Minister of Energy, Israel, Dr. Yuval Steinitz, Ambassador of India to Israel, Ambassador of Israel to India, Chairman of Indian Oil, Chairman of Phinergy, MD Maruti Suzuki, CTO Ashok Leland, board members, senior functionaries, and ladies and gentlemen, all participants in today's inaugural function. India is one of the largest energy consumers in the world, and in India's energy demand is likely to keep going up. The world is going to experience an increase in energy demand of 1%, whereas India is likely to experience an increase in demand by 3%. It could be even higher. And while this creates a big a delta where we would need to get more energy, we are also talking of energy transition, which means that we would be moving from some fossil forms of energy, say coal, to cleaner forms of energy, which would mean that the requirement of renewable energy in India is going to grow exponentially. Now, penetration of renewable energy largely depends on storage. The whole world is looking for breakthrough in storage, and so is India. If we want more renewable energy in the grid, we need more storage for grid stability. If we want more renewable energy or cleaner forms of energy in transport, we are looking for batteries which are more compact, have more energy density, are cheaper, are lighter. And in India, we also want batteries where the material is available in India. So this aluminium air battery appears to be magical. It appears to be the answer for India, and therefore this joint venture, this collaboration between India and Israel is really path-breaking. It's very important, and it's really going to change the way we use energy in the future. And in India, we are very excited and very happy that this is happening. We know that Israel is known for some great technologies which have come into the world, and not only for developing technologies, but also putting them in the field on commercial scale. And this could be another great example. So therefore, this joint venture, which is now being created, is very welcome. I congratulate the participants on this joint venture and look forward to this technology reaching commercial scale at the earliest. So my good wishes, and we hope that manufacturing will happen in India. We hope that this technology would play a very major role in India. India is also known for technology. India is known for a huge technical manpower and very competent companies in the field of energy. So that's why we look forward to great collaboration. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, commemorating the strategic partnership between the two energy giants, we now have the launch of the IOP logo. I would like to request our Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, to kindly launch the IOP logo by pressing the remote. So that's the logo, ladies and gentlemen, of IOP, and many congratulations to all present. And now further a step towards the familiarization of the aluminum air battery technology, we have the signing of the letter of intent between IOP and two leading automotive companies of India. First, we have between IOP and Maruti. From IOP, may I request Mr. Sanjeev Gupta, Executive Director, Corporate Strategy, Indian Oil, and Chairman IOC Phinergy Private Limited. And from Maruti, we have Mr. Kenichi Ayukawa, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Maruti Suzuki India Limited. May I request the dignitaries to kindly sign the letter of intent and then hold it for a photo op as we extend this commitment and to all present here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the next letter of intent being signed between IOP and Ashok Leyland. From IOP, once again, Shri Sanjeev Gupta signing it, and from Ashok Leyland, Dr. N. Sarvanan, CTO, Ashok Leyland Limited. So once again, many congratulations to both. And now we're very pleased to invite the Honorable Energy Minister of Israel, Dr. Yuval Steinitz, to kindly share his thoughts and his valuable expressions with the August gathering.
Hello, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here together with my colleague, Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas of India, Mr. Pradhan, and with all the other dignitaries from the Indian Ministry of Energy, Indian Oil Company, car companies, and of course from Phinergy, from Israel, and from my own office. Actually, I feel really enthusiastic today and excited because this seems to be a breakthrough that a few years we could only dream of. I remember my first visit to India. It took place in 2012, 9 years ago, when the Indian, or 2011, I don't remember exactly, when I had been the Minister of Finance, and I was invited by Minister Mukherjee. He was then the Finance Minister of India to pay a visit to India, and I came for several days, and I was deeply impressed, and it was so interesting and so surprising, and the food was so delicious that I felt in love with India, like what happened to many Israelis. And later on, I concluded with Mr. Mukherjee that we have to do our best in order to encourage not just the regular economic trade and cooperation between India and Israel, or between, may I say, between the giant and the dwarf, but also to focus spatially about cooperation and joint venture in the high-tech sphere, programs of R&D and so on and so forth. Then we also, for the first time, we decided that we will encourage hundreds of young doctors from India to make their postdoctoral experience studies here in Israel. And since then, I think already several hundred young families of people who did their PhDs in India came to Israeli universities, to the Weizmann Institute, to the Technion, and really, I thought then, 9 years ago, that the great post.
Let the virtual and physical remain for quite some time because this corona is not going to go away.
Hello, somebody forgot to put on mute. So let me proceed. I thought always that there is a great room and opportunities for R&D in the field of, in all fields, and especially in the field of energy. Israel is known to be startup nation, and really the figures are staggering. In Little Israel, we have more startups, technological startups, than any other country in the world. after the United States, to exclude the United States. We even have more startups in Little Israel than all of Europe, than all of the European Union put together. In the last 5 or 6 years, we begin to see many startups and more mature companies in the field of energy. I think we have around 500 technological companies in the field of energy, cybersecurity for the energy sector, electricity storage like Phinergy, energy efficiency, hydrogen cells, and many other areas. And this kind of cooperation really sounds very promising. Actually, we invited Indian Oil to come to Israel in order to participate in the exploration of new gas fields, in order to explore our economic water. So Indian Oil was part of an Indian consortium that arrived here to look for oil. And instead of oil, it seemed to me that you have found aluminum in Israel instead of oil. And this is, of course, very important, even maybe more important for our future. Phinergy is a very promising technological startup, or already more mature than just a startup. The idea of using aluminum instead of lithium sounds very promising, and I just have the privilege to try and to even drive a rickshaw that brought from India with Phinergy battery, and I can tell you it was a pleasure. I just drove it. I want one like this at my home, but I think first it will be deployed in India. So I think this is a great opportunity to serve the transition to electric transportation with much more efficient, cheaper, and longer batteries. And I'm very proud that India and Israel are working on this together. If India and Israel will do something together that later on will serve the entire world, I think it's really remarkable. So I want to thank our Indian partners. It's a Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, in Indian Oil, in the car manufacturers, and of course I want also to thank Phinergy for their adventure and for their development. And let's hope that this is just the start. I still hope that Indian Oil one day also will explore and discover gas fields here, because we are eager also to sell natural gas from Israel, not just to Egypt and Jordan, and not just to Europe, but maybe in the future also to the growing Indian market. In Israel, just to let you know, we transform almost all our energy sector from coal and oil and diesel to natural gas and solar energy. In 2025, it will be entirely natural gas and solar energy. We will reduce 95% of the air pollution from the energy sector in Israel. And I'm very proud and happy. And I want again to give all my warm greetings to the success of this really one of its kind adventure. And let's hope that what you are signing today, we are only here to give our greetings to this, will serve not just India and Israel, but will serve in the future the entire world. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today.
Honorable Minister, this is Aviv. I would like to say one short statement, if I can. Mr. Chairman, can I say something?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for you. What I want to say is people talk, and sometimes mistakenly politician has the tendency to talk, but I would like to say from first hand that I know the Honorable Minister Steinitz for a long time. And he supported Phinergy when we were very young, when it was not working at the time, and supported us in research and development. And today, a few years later, we have a result. And I would like to propose the honorable audience is that we should bring, let's say, 36 or 100 Mahindras to travel in our main roads. And let's do a program that people can say, I drove on aluminum. And I would like to, I beg to differ, the honorable minister. Gas and oil should stay on the ground. Let's bury all the carbon. Let's do new energy. Let's use aluminum. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to you, and thank you to Honorable Minister Steinitz for his thoughts. And we really value this progressive alliance between the two countries and the two companies, building a better, safe, and sustainable world. And with that, now, ladies and gentlemen, would like to request Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, the Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Government of India, for his address.
Honorable Minister of Energy, Israel, Dr. Yuval Steinitz, senior colleagues at Tel Aviv and Delhi, and dear friends, it's a pleasure to join this milestone inauguration today, along with my esteemed colleague, Minister of Energy, Israel, Dr. Yuval Steinitz. I recall Dr. Steinitz, our meeting in Istanbul in 2017 on the sideline of the World Petroleum Congress, wherein we had agreed to intensify collaboration between our two countries in oil and gas sector. The visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India to Israel in July 2017, marking the 25th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries, was a landmark visit which solidified the enduring friendship between the two countries and raised the bilateral relationship to that of a strategic partnership. The idea of collaboration between IOCL and Phinergy was germinated during this visit, which further culminated in a letter of intent being exchanged between the respective companies during the visit of Prime Minister of Israel to India in 2018. The fusion of the vision of our Prime Minister has inter alia resulted in this joint venture being launched today. I am convinced that the joint venture between Indian Oil and Phinergy, named IOC Phinergy Private Limited, will help India in its journey towards clean, sustainable, affordable, safe, and long-lasting energy options and facilitate much faster adoption of e-vehicle in the country. Needless to say, energy is integral to support our fast-growing Indian economy and its ambition. Our energy sector will be growth-centric, industry-friendly, and environment-conscious. We have the onerous task of ensuring ample access to energy to improve the lives of Indians, coupled with the need to have a smaller carbon footprint. In this scenario, this technology to develop indigenous batteries using locally available aluminum feeds into the energy vision of India as espoused by Prime Minister Modi, wherein he has given a clear call for increasing contributions of electricity to decarbonize mobility. I truly acknowledge and appreciate cooperation between Phinergy and Indian Oil for undertaking efforts to improve and commercialize this technology that supports India's vision for sustainable and domestic energy supply. Based on domestically available aluminum, the joint venture plans to manufacture aluminum air system in India and provide a boost to India's flagship program, Make in India, and at the same time, recycling of use of aluminum will help India in becoming Atmanirbhar for energy requirements. I am happy to note that apart from Maruti Suzuki, leading automobile industry representatives such as Ashok Leyland and Mahindra Electric are part of the validation of the technology. Today is a significant day as we have witnessed the inauguration of the joint venture IOC Phinergy Private Limited, IOP, between Indian Oil and Phinergy of Israel, and also the signing of letter of intent between IOP and Maruti Suzuki Ashok Leyland for better tomorrow. I will also ask the Indian industry, primarily the automotive manufacturers, to extend all necessary support to the joint venture for commercializing the aluminum air technology. Friends, before I conclude, I am assuring both my good friend Dr. Yuval Steinis, India is committed to go for a gas-based economy. That means more gas we will require, and the most trusted friend of India is Israel. So we can work together on that front, be assured. And simultaneously, my new friend, Mr. Habib Islam Ninnatori, India has a bigger appetite for the new additional energy and new energy. And my Prime Minister has a clear vision. Recently, he has announced the future mobility will be more based on electric vehicles and it will be decarbonized. We have appetite for both the energy. And I'm happy Israel can be a long-standing partner as usual with India. Congratulations to all the stakeholders of today's program. Thank you, friends.
Honorable Minister, may I have one positive comment? You spoke about appetite, and thank you for that. In 1982, I came first time to India, and since then I enjoy the food and appetite. But I am an aviator in my profession, and I was an F-15 and F-16 pilot, and my first company sold system to the Indian Air Force. What I would like to say is that currently we in Israel build electric airplane that use only electricity. And I believe with the infrastructure of India, that roads and grid is not at best coming from above and redefining highway in the most innovative way is something that I would like to personally introduce you. And if even of Corona, you invite me to come, next week I'm at your office showing you what is the next step. So I'm waiting for your invitation.
No, you are. I am extending invitation to you. My good friend Dr. Ramakumar is here. Mr. Vaidya is here. They will extend you invitation formally. Come to India. Certainly, we will increase our relationship, and this technology will great help to India's vision. Thank you, friends.
Minister, for his very progressive thoughts and also highlighting the energy transition vision which India has undertaken under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Modi, and especially with respect to the mobility. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the closure of this event, I would like to request Shri Sanjeev Gupta, Executive Director, Corporate Strategy, Indian Oil, and Chairman IOP, to kindly propose a formal vote of thanks.
His Excellency Ambassador of India to Israel, Shri Sanjeev Kumar Singlaji, respected Secretary MOPNG, Shri Tarun Kapoorji, respected Chairman Indian Oil, Shri S.M. Vaidya, and board members of Indian Oil, Chairman Phinergy, Mr. Aviv Jidon, MD Maruti Suzuki India Limited, Mr. Kenichi Ayukawa, CTO Ashok Leyland and Dr. N. Saravanan, CEO Mahindra Electric, Shri Mahesh Babu, senior officials from Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, who are present here and joined through webcast. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I express my gratitude to all the esteemed guests for taking time out to grace this occasion. We are extremely thankful to the Honorable Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji and Honorable Dr. Yuval Steinis for their inspiring talks. I'm sure that your talks will provide guidance to the newly incorporated joint venture and will also foster further cooperation between India and Israel. Indeed, we all are inspired by your great words. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to convey my hearty thanks to Shri Tarun Kapoorji, Secretary MOPNG, Shri S.M. Vaidya, Chairman Indian Oil, Senior Management of Indian Oil and Phinergy, Senior Management representative from Maruti, Ashok Leyland and Mahindra Electric, for their continuous support and guidance on introduction and proposed commercialization of aluminum air battery technology in India. An event like this requires support of many individuals and teams. I would like to thank every individual who contributed to the success of this event. Thank you all again for being with us this evening. It has been an honor and great pleasure. Jai Hind.
As was mentioned, this is just a beginning of a fruitful relationship between India and Israel and between the two companies. Many congratulations to everyone, and once again thanking the honorable ministers and all the dignitaries.